All right. So Serie A.
Yep,
The resurgence of Syria when we were growing up, that was the league.
that was the
That was
league.
the best players in the world played there. The best
Yep,
football in the world was played
yep,
there. Not always the most pleasing football.
yeah. But they
Um,
won trophies. You remember the Champions League finals, the back-to-back, where Milan beat Barcelona that had Romario.
4-0, 92.
Yeah,
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 4-0. Yeah.
yeah.
And then the next year, what Juve beat Ajax the year after that.
I think that was it. I
Yeah.
think even beat Ajax the year after
Juve
that.
beat Ajax in the final the year after that.
Yeah.
So
So Italian
what's
league,
responsible?
they had everybody. They were solid.
So what do you think is responsible for the resurgence of Syria?
I think they kind of went back to the basics, kind of, right? And they they said, let's focus on talent and not necessarily the name. Once the product is good, we have the fan base. We've always had the fan base anyway. People people are kind of fanatic about football in Italy, right? It's the TV, right? It's the TV stuff that we didn't have.
Mm.
Okay, so let's focus on the talent, not necessarily just pumping money on big names, right? So let's focus on the talent and just get people. Let's get people back into the stadium. And once we find any big name that is finding it difficult wherever they are, we can be like the home for them. We'll make them feel comfortable, right? So, for example, look at Lukaku is in Syria. Your Pulisic is in Syria.
Mhm.
So I think they've done a good job in like rebranding and refocusing on what is important, right? Even look at Milan, the two Milan teams. They look for the player, they focus on the talents. We need this guy, we need to bring them on board. And also, in the European football cycle, I think they've done a decent job, right? They've not been the best league, but the teams that have played in Europe have actually done a decent one.
They've done okay. Yeah, they've done okay.
Done okay. So that's what's happening to Syria. I think the whole Juventus debacle kind of sacked the big boys up, and everybody's now working. We need to be financially responsible. We
Mm.
just don't. We just don't. We can't be throwing money all over the place, and I think that kind of helped them.
And it helped that they don't have the money to throw all over the place. I'm sure.
Exactly.
I'm sure that helped as well. You know. So,
Exactly.
two things about Serie A before we leave the European leagues alone. We're gonna talk about your prediction 1, 2, 3 in Serie A, and then we're gonna talk about Osimhen.
Um,
Let's do the predictions first. That one's easy.
so for the prediction, I actually think Juve will win it.
Okay.
I've been, I don't like Allegri.
Okay.
That's
Yeah, I know you don't think he's a good coach. Yes.
I don't think is a good coach. But I'm looking at that Juve squad.
Mm.
The squad is actually quite decent,
Okay.
right? And they have a striker in Vlahovic that I think this guy was a beast when he was at Fiorentina. Fiorentina
He might
didn't
be.
have they
He
didn't
might be
even
coming
have a
to. He
good
might be
squad.
coming to Arsenal, but okay.
No, it's not going to. Stop with this Arsenal thing. It's not going to.
Uh,
Vlahovic is all of a sudden a super player, and Juve kind of brought in the younger guys, the
mm,
kids,
mm,
that they had in their feeder team and stuff, and they've been doing well. Inter might
mm.
have the big name; they might be the defending champions and stuff, but I want to give it to Juve. Kind of, I like what they have. I like their squad. If you go through the squad list, you don't see big name players there anymore. It's just young guys that are willing to put in the work. Even the people they just bought this guy Jallo, this Portuguese defender.
Yeah.
He's really not that popular, right? But he's a decent defender, very very
Mm.
good defender, right? They have your English boys, McKinney. McKinney is back with them. He's having a better season now than he had.
American.
Yeah, the American, yeah,
Western McKinney.
Weston
Yeah.
McKinney, yeah.
Watch out 2026. Watch out 2026 when we host the World Cup and win it.
Okay, I hear you.
You know what's crazy? The US is gonna win the World Cup before an African country. I said this 20 years ago. You guys all thought I was crazy. But that's what's gonna happen. But let's go on. We'll topic for
Okay,
another day.
well, that's another topic for another day.
Yeah,
I disagree with you on that, but we'll
I know
see.
you disagree, but it will happen.
I disagree with you on that. So I'm kind of giving it to you then. And they have the focus of not, they're not in the Champions League, are they? No, they're not.
You
So
bet they're not in the
they're
Champions League.
not. So they
No,
can focus. So Inter will get distracted with the Champions League and stuff. And I don't
I
think.
could not disagree more. And I thought I was gonna say this, so I looked up the table, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I want to be precise when I say this.
Yeah.
So I have this goals difference theory, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Where there isn't a massive difference between two teams, I look at the goals difference.
Yeah.
Right? If there's a massive difference in the goals difference,
Uh-huh.
that's gonna carry the day for me. So let me tell you what I'm saying. Right now, Inter are number 1, Juve are number 2. Juve have played one more match,
game,
right?
yeah.
They played 22. Inter have played 21.
Uh-huh.
Inter 17 wins, 3 draws, 1 loss, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Juve 16 wins, 5 draws, 1 loss. That's not that significant to me, right? Because I haven't looked at who's played more at home, away, whatever, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Points 54 to 53, Inter to Juve.
Mm-hmm.
Goals scored though 50 to 36. Goals conceded 10 to 13. Goals difference 40.
That's like a 17
17
50 17 yeah.
17 difference. So for me, unless something drastic happens, if this thing goes wire to wire, for me, I feel like the goals difference kind of tells me who is the better team overall, even when it's really tight. So I'm gonna say Inter, Juve, and I think Milan will stabilize, and I don't think anyone can catch them. They're 10 points ahead of Atalanta right now. So I think they'll be a comfortable number 3.
I think I'll go with the likely upset. I know Inter have the better squad. Yeah. They're playing well, but nah.
Okay, we'll see. We'll come back at the end of the season.
And I'm wearing a Juve jersey, by the way. So,
I know you are. I know.
So it'll be unfair if I come on here and I support Inter wearing a Juve jersey.
All right, let's wrap by talking about our man Victor Osimhen. So I will start. I've changed position a little bit on him. I was never a fan, right? The numbers bear out my position. With the exception of last season, I'm not looking at it right now, but I think last season he scored something like 31 goals in 39 matches. I'm not sure in all competitions, something like that. He's never scored more than 14 in a league season, in any season, right? I think it's 25 now, so he's not a baby, right? He's not a kid. So I don't think he's naturally prolific as a striker. So when you're not naturally prolific, then I look at, let me see what my eyes tell me. So I know what the paper tells me, right? So I look at what my eyes tell me. He runs the channels well. Actually, no, let me correct myself. He runs, period. He just runs. I'm not going to say he runs the channels. He just runs a lot, right? Which is good. You have a great motor. Good for you. God bless you, right? But then, can you run with sense? I got some hate when the year they won Napoli's first title in whatever, he wasn't player of the year. Kvaratskhelia was the player of the season. I thought deservedly so. I thought he was by far Napoli's best player that season, right? The other guy scored a bunch of goals, right?
Yeah.
So for me, it's like you put him on any team, are you getting the same results? We're seeing it at AFCON right now. Yeah, you're right. Midfield is terrible, whatever, but is not exactly dominating inferior competition. So that's my take on. I hope he gets better. I hope he gets a big money move. I'm not exactly pining for him at my club, if I'm being honest. I hope I hope Arsenal pretends to be in for him, so Chelsea can pay 230 million for him, and then they get relegated for cooking the books. So that's what I hope happens. What do you think?
So I've followed Osimhen since he was under 17.
Yeah.
Right. When we won on the 17 World Cup. And if there was something, he didn't have this hustle then, to be fair. But go ahead on YouTube and go check Osimhen's under 17 goals. You will
I watched them in that tournament. Yeah.
There is a finisher there. to be fair to him, there is a finisher there. This hustle is this hustle that you're seeing, this all action, that wasn't Osimhen in under 17. Yes, he had a bit of that in him, but it was very, very clinical.
I think that came after the German debacle that he had. I think
so he went to Wolfsburg,
yeah,
right? And it was a rude awakening for him.
Yeah.
Europe is not, I mean, he struggled. I don't think he scored a goal for Wolfsburg.
No, he didn't. And then he got loaned out to Charleroi. He got loaned out to Charleroi.
Or
in Belgium, right?
Was it Antwerp or Charleroi? Okay, I think it was Charleroi.
Charleroi,
so he went to Charleroi, and he had he had a decent return.
Yeah, I think it's called maybe 1 and 2. I don't know. I'm not looking at it.
He had a very, very decent return in Charleroi. Then he went to Lille, right? And we saw an Osimhen that is now a physical specimen.
Yeah.
Because he was this tall, lanky kid then, right? If you blow too much, the guy might actually fall down. He wasn't the strongest guy when he played the under 17, right? And for Napoli, to be fair, he scored a lot of goals for Napoli, you know.
Yes, he did.
I don't have the numbers here with me, but I'll be shocked if he's not above 50 or 60 or probably.
Yeah, I think it is called. I think he's at 50 something now, but it's roughly 1 and 2 for them. It's roughly.
And like you said, in Napoli, right, they created chances for him, right, and he put those chances away at a very, very high clip.
And he didn't score penalties. So to be fair to him,
he wasn't on penalty.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing: if he doesn't get the service, he resorts to hustling. The hustle might ruffle a couple of defenders' feathers, and he might get something off them and score, right? Which is what we're seeing on the Super Eagles right now. He is not getting the service. But what he's giving the team is a ridiculous level of hustle. A ridiculous level of hustle, right? So he's not the player that can take the ball, dribble 2-3 people, create the chance for himself. He's not that guy. He has never been, and I don't think he ever will be. Yeah? He's not as... His attacking awareness is not at the level of Haaland.
No.
Haaland knows when to take off. A lot of people say Haaland's skill is finishing. No. Haaland knows when to take off and where to run to. And if you most likely give him a half-decent ball, he will get there. Osimhen, in this tournament only, has had too many offside decisions against him. I'm like, dude, you need to learn timing, when to run and where to run to. It gets to a point I'm like, you shouldn't be offside there. You should know. It is not, you don't just start running. You need to look at who is giving you the pass. And maybe it's a problem with communication with the midfielders and stuff.
It's communication is the quality of the midfield as well. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like we don't have anyone that can pass you open.
Exactly.
So you have to get open and then they pass. And that's a problem with midfield.
So if he gets into a team that creates a boatload of chances, Osimhen will score goals.
So you're saying he won't score if he went to Chelsea? That's what you're saying.
This current Chelsea, yes. And it's simple. Palmer wants to score. Sterling wants to score. They're not really interested in their
in feeding the nine.
Anybody, Boha, Jackson, whoever is in the middle, they're not interested. So that is my take on Osimhen, right? He said he has made up his mind. He knows where he's going. Something tells me it will most likely be Chelsea, right? And you can see him and Drogba hugging, and so I look at that, I'm like, we know what's going on, right?
But I was an Arsenal fan growing up.
Nah, look, everybody's an Arsenal fan in Nigeria because of Kanu. You know this.
This is true.
So, Osimhen is most likely going to Chelsea.